Hello and welcome to this live stream on my channel. My name is Khadija Mitchell, and I'm the host of this channel, Journey into the Soul, where I provide regular meditations, intuitive messages, and yoga nidra. So I hope that you are doing well wherever you are in space and time. And I'm grateful to be here with each and every one of you, whether you're joining live or watching the replay. We're going to get started in a moment with meditation, and then after the meditation, then I'll give more of a deeper reading. I'm going to be using my what is this deck called? My Ancient Stones deck today from Rebecca Campbell, and I'll probably pull a couple cards from the Animal Tarot deck as well. But right now, before we move into the meditation, I just want to share a little bit about something that I've been hearing. I was kind of like just laying in bed this morning before I got out of bed and kind of tuning into what I needed to share, to what was going to be of the greatest benefit for my own heart, and also for like anyone that could come across this video, what would be of the greatest value at this time, wherever you are watching this. And I just, it was this really deep feeling, and like visually and also feeling of just living your dream with your eyes wide open. And I know my channel is all about meditation and love, right? Like I love meditation, and I think it's a very valuable aspect of self-care, of self-growth, and lots of other things. And we could spend our whole lives in meditation, but sometimes people actually spend a lot of time in meditation, and maybe they don't feel like they're really making the progress in their life that they want to. And so this message is really for those hearts out there that there's a part of you that feels like I've been doing this, I've been doing the work, I'm putting the effort in, and I'm still, whatever, fill in the blank. And there's this, like, it's so full. There's so much that comes through when I hear this message. I've heard it a lot in the last couple months, and I just want to make sure that I bring it through in a way that you can receive it. And it's really more than just the meditation. It's learning how to take those tools that you are practicing in the meditation into your living, breathing daily life, right? So being able to come into our hearts and settle down and breathe a little deeper and breathe a little slower when we're in meditation is great. But we also have to be able to do that when we're just moving through the world, right? And even more than that, some of you that watch that come to my channel or watch these videos probably are likely into manifestation and do different techniques. And maybe some of you aren't, and that's perfectly okay. But you also have aspirations in your life and dreams and visions about who you want to be and where you want to go, right? And maybe you use your meditations in some way to do that, to help you reach that goal, whether that's just by helping you settle down and come into a calmer space so you're ready to take on the day, or if that's actually using those meditations to visualize and see and become and feel into that future version of yourself. And what I've been hearing it so strongly is we have to live that with our eyes wide open. And I was thinking of Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he does his walking meditations. Like if you're familiar with his work, he has a whole series of walking meditations, and they're great. They're amazing. If you haven't tried them, I would highly recommend them if you're into his work, because they do exactly that. They allow you and help you to walk as your future self with your eyes wide open, right? So you move through these states of where you're in a meditative state, and then with your eyes closed, standing, visualizing, feeling, expanding your field. And then you move into a sequence of opening your eyes and moving as your future self. And he has a whole amazing um, series of those, like I was saying. But we can do that without the meditation as well. And this is where I'm going, is that for some people, we feel like we need these tools. And one of the things that I've been holding and thinking about is something that my yoga teacher taught me. So when I got my yoga teacher certification, and that was that, our rituals and our habits and our like the things that our practices, if we grip too firmly to them, they can actually become detrimental to us. And I don't mean like in a negative way, but we can start to feel and think that if I don't do my, or meditation, or if I don't do my tapping, or if I don't do my breath work or whatever it is, then my whole life will fall apart. And I mean, I know I feel so much better when I wake up in the morning and meditate. I definitely do. And I love to meditate. I meditate every day without fail. But if I've done it before where I like set criteria on myself of like, oh, I have to get up between 3 and 5 a.m. and meditate. And if I don't do that, then I can start to feel guilty, right? Or, oh, I have to do a 2-hour meditation at this time of the day. And if my meditation isn't that length, then you can, be hard on yourself for that. And that's what I'm saying. We can't do that. We got to move away from that because that's actually not benefiting us. And you can have an intention that I'm going to meditate every day and then be okay with what form that takes. I've had days where my meditation is a 5-minute meditation and I just sit there and I just focus on my breath and there's no, and it's just what I needed. Or there's days where I do multiple of those pauses throughout the day. But having fluidity and flexibility in your practices is really important. While it's good to have a set practice because it keeps you kind of grounded and um, something to come home to, gripping too firmly to that can actually create more like more turmoil in the long run if we're not being observant and aware of ourselves. So saying, okay, this is my intention, this is my practice, great, but then I'm going to give myself flexibility where that needs to ebb and flow depending on what's happening with the current of life, right? But beyond that, so the real purpose of this whole conversation is that all of that we're practicing in the meditation, in the breath work, in the visualization needs to be carried into our living, breathing daily life as we walk through life. We have to live our dream with our eyes wide open. As we're in a conversation with another person, we have to already be in the energy of who it is that we want to be, right? We have to live it to become it, right? How are you, like, there are certain things that you may want in your future. And this is a question I ask myself sometimes, right? So if there is something I want in my future and I'm trying to achieve it, or a version of myself I want to become, like I want to become more loving. How am I ever going to become more loving if I don't, one, practice being more loving? If I don't let myself feel what it would feel like to be more loving, right? It's the same thing with abundance. It's the same thing with being more communicative, right? If we want something as an aspect of ourselves in our life, we have to know what that feels like in order to even welcome it in. Because how can we ever be more abundant if we don't even start to feel what that might feel like? Because even then, when it comes, we won't know what to do with it because we're so used to feeling a different way that we'll get rid of it as quickly as we got it, right? So we have to practice the feeling with eyes wide open while we're in conversation with our friends and family, while we're doing our work at at your computer, or if you're on the ground doing whatever it is you're doing, just living that dream as if it's already occurring now with your eyes wide open. I heard something and then I read it again recently, and it's like the universe loves someone that's a little delusional, right? Because you believe it, because you believe it. You're not listening to other people that say, no, that's not possible or that's not true. You believe that there's something more to existence than what you can see with your physical eye. And you know that the universe doesn't quite work the way that you may have been told as you were growing up. And you know that you can actually live the life of your dreams, right? You know that there's more for you out there. And you have to just let yourself feel it, more often than not, and let yourself feel it more than just when you're in the meditation. Let me see. And the other thing that's really strongly coming through, it's like this, okay, I have a dream, and I feel really grateful that this isn't something that I experienced in my own life. But as an entrepreneur and as someone who's working on building my own business, I've met many people in the circle of entrepreneurs who especially men and women, and that are in the spiritual entrepreneur business, right? Not just any, like, it's all aspects of it, but it's happens a lot more when you're, wanting to get on YouTube and talk about spirituality and science, or wanting to get on YouTube and talk about, and read cards or do meditations or even yoga sometimes. But it can happen anywhere. Um, and that's that you have a dream in your heart, and you really know it's what you want to do. And even though you know it, there are so many seeming roadblocks in your life that say you can't have it. And maybe those are voices of family, friends, coworkers, bosses, mentors that are saying that's not possible. How are you going to make money doing that? How are you going to survive doing that? That is, especially in the spiritual community, that's woo woo. That's not real. It's all these things. And or if you just try and you have this big dream, it's like, well, how are you going to fund it? How are you going to make it happen? I think that you need to start somewhere else. You should do this instead. Don't do that. Right? How many times have you heard something along those lines, and then that puts that feeling into your heart, and you go, is my dream realistic? Is my dream possible? And you start to doubt something that's in your heart, something that you are being told you're here to do, right? I mean, I'm certain that this message is for someone out there. It's not just like, I'm not just saying this for no reason. There's a reason that I'm sharing this today. And so if you are that person that has that dream in your heart, but yet there's all these people around you saying different things, or even, you're looking out into the world and you are looking at people with success, what you consider successful. Our definition of success does not have to be the same, but what you consider successful as a successful business or whatnot, and you're looking how they're doing it, and you're going, well, I can't do that. Well, but why? A lot of the time it comes back to those voices that other people, of other, the other critics in our lives. And, I'm very, very, very grateful that I'm speaking because I'm sharing this because it's a message that's coming through to be shared. But I feel so grateful that my family, like my mom and my brothers and my sister, when I told them I was shifting paths and whatnot, I was so nervous, and I judged myself more, and I thought people were going to judge me more than they actually did. There was, and sometimes that happens too, and you very well might be somebody out there that is actually taking the place of that inner critic because of what you're afraid someone's going to say. You haven't even shared what you're going to be doing, but you're creating the story of what they're saying. Right? And that was definitely what I was doing. And whenever, I finally was like, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do," they were like, you go do it. Yeah, that's great," you know? And sometimes that what we think people are gonna say is way off base from what's actually gonna happen. That's actually our self-doubt, our inner critic, our inner voice that's fearful. And we have to work through that and release that and let that go. But I have met lots and lots of people who are in the entrepreneurial space, who are in the dreaming space, who want to go out and do it, and they have that all around them. And at some point, you have to let all of those other voices go and listen to the voice of your heart, and let that be the loudest voice. Let that be the guiding light. Let that be the thing. Your North Star has to be the dream that's in your heart. And no matter what anyone is saying around you, no matter what anyone is saying is possible, or what you can do or what you're capable of or what's possible in the world, no matter what's happening around you, you have to trust the voice that's in your heart. And you have to let yourself start to feel what it would feel like if you really listened to that. If you just took the one step out onto the bridge of that dream. What's that one step you have to take today? And really just start to feel it. So I hope that that landed. Like those voices, we have to let them go, right? We can't live our lives based on other people's opinions of what is possible. We can't live our lives based upon what other people tell us we are capable of. We must live our dreams that come and emanate from deep within our heart, that are emanating from our soul. That's that voice within you that knows what you are here to do, that knows what you really want to do. And you have to do that. Because when you listen and you follow that, you come alive through your own passion of life, right? You come alive because you aren't being restricted by the limitations of the world around you anymore. And you're really, really remembering that you have more. You have more power than you have ever let yourself believe before. So let yourself dream and let yourself vision what you want from your life. And then let yourself open your eyes and really feel that as though that is your reality right now, as though you are already living it. Let yourself live your dream with eyes wide open. Just, want to just reflect back one of the comments that just came through in the chat because I feel it deeply, right? So, like talking about our inner doubts slowing us down more than other people. And that was definitely my experience. And all I can say really is that I have had to continuously meet myself with where I'm at and expand beyond the borders of who I was, right? And that and I will keep doing that because as we expand and as we grow, it's like that peeling back layers of the onion and we keep meeting deeper parts of ourselves that need to be healed. And the like this and it's the only way out is through. The only way I could ever get over my fear of being on YouTube was to get on YouTube. Like, that's it. That was the only way. The only way I could ever, release my inner critic around my meditations being able to help people was by sharing my meditations with as many people as I can and letting them experience them and proving to myself that my voice in my heart, the one that was saying you have to do it, was right. Right? That was the only way I could release that really. Like I could tell myself, I could say, of course, I'm meant to do this. I'm called to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you might still feel that little niggle, like wherever you feel it in your body, right? I've shared before, it's often in my solar plexus or my sacral, or yeah, anyway. Um, but I can maybe still feel it. But when I prove to myself, and I see some of the comments that come through. Thank you all so much when you share your comments and the meditations, like just sharing how a meditation has helped you or guided you or I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, you know? And I couldn't have helped anybody if I hadn't listened to that voice and been that conduit because it's not really me, it's really just you, right? You're doing it. I'm just a voice in your ear facilitating the experience and that voice is really being channeled through from guides beyond us. But I had to do it. I had to do it to know that that voice within my heart was right and that shouldn't doubt myself. I shouldn't doubt myself. One last thing, and then we'll go into the meditation. Um, I'm just trying to calibrate to where I need to share this from. One of the lessons I have been learning and am, continuously again expanding beyond the boundaries of my comfort zone of my old self, is the absolute must, like the necessity in trusting my inner voice, right? That's something that we all must do. First and foremost, you must trust what your intuition knows, what your heart knows. Because if we don't trust that voice, if we don't trust our inner guidance system, that quiet, calm, soft, loving voice that knows what to do, if we doubt that, we are actually doubting the universe. We are doubting the very life force that flows through our veins. And so we have to let go of that. Trusting ourselves is trusting the universe when we're listening to our intuition, when we're listening to that internal GPS. Trusting that is trusting the universe. Because that voice comes from our connection with something more. And so sometimes we pray and we say, God or universe or source or spirit or however you pray, please do this for me. Please help me with this. Please guide me with this. And maybe we hear in our heart, everything's going to be okay. You just have to be patient a little longer. But then we're not patient. And we go and we start to try to put the control. We start to try to force action, right? And then in that case, we are not trusting our inner guidance system. We are not trusting the universe, the one that we just sent our prayer to, that was actually responding to our prayer. Okay. I'm going to pause there because we're going to move into our meditation that was much longer than I anticipated the opening message to be, but as all things go, so we're going to do our meditation. If you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and find that comfortable space. And you can be seated or laying down, whatever is feeling right for you today. And before you close your eyes, just take a moment to really feel into your body. Become aware of where you are in space, in your physical location. And then maybe you can even find one space in front of you to focus on just for a moment. And as you focus on this point in place, see if you can just gently begin to deepen your breath. And as your breath deepens and your eyes are still open, see if you can begin to allow your body to relax. You may notice that there are areas of tension in your body or spaces where you feel like you're gripping your muscles. And as you breathe deeply, just allow your breath to flow into these places. And with each breath, feel as the muscles soften. As your breath deepens a little more, invite your body to relax. And then go ahead and gently close your eyes. Still breathing deeply, still breathing slowly. Inviting the body to continue relaxing. See if you can just soften the muscles in your body a little more. As we move through this meditation today, we're going to practice with both eyes closed and eyes open, helping to bring the meditative state into our living, breathing, waking life. But for now, we'll remain here with the eyes closed, breathing deeply, breathing slowly. Inviting the body to relax and the mind to let go. You are exactly where you need to be. Trust that. Feeling as the body softens a little more with each breath. And with the next breath, we're going to gently begin drifting the awareness into the sacred heart space in the center of the chest. And once you have found your heart, gently open your eyes and find that point that you were focusing on before. Remembering to connect with your breath. Breathing a little deeper and slower still. Feeling the space of the Sacred Heart. And you might notice that since you have opened your eyes, your body has started to tense again. Just gently allow the breath to flow into any places where the muscles are gripping, and allow the breath to help softly let go. connecting with the heart as you breathe. Present in your physical space as you breathe. As the body continues to soften and your eyes are open, see if you can feel into your heart and connect with the energy of love, of joy. If your mind is trying to distract you, just gently observe whatever is arising now, calling your focus of attention back to the heart, back to the deep breath. Inviting the feeling of love or joy to arise from within. You can even ask your heart, show me what love feels like. Each breath is an invitation to drop in a little deeper. And present in your heart, gently close your eyes, connecting in with the gentle beating of your heart. Breathing deeper and slower. And feeling the love of your heart. Inviting in the joy of your heart. You can even ask your heart, dear heart, show me what joy feels like. Breathing deeper and slower still. Allowing yourself to feel the energy of your heart. And still in this meditative state with your awareness in the heart, gently open your eyes once more, bringing it back to that space where you focused your attention before. And for a moment, just notice how the body changes as you open your eyes. And invite your breath to deepen again. Invite your awareness to drift back into the heart. Feeling that love, that joy that naturally emanates from within. And see if you can even feel it a little deeper than before. You can even send this love and this joy into any areas in your body that are still holding on to that tension. Notice how this energy softens these places in the body. You are exactly where you need to be. Trust that. And then gently close your eyes one last time, drifting your awareness back into the central point of your heart. Breathing deep, breathing slow. Feeling the energy of the heart as it overflows and moves all around you. Feeling the love of your heart, connecting with the joy of your heart. Letting your body soften a little more. And as you continue to breathe this deep breath, take a moment to send the vibration and energy of the heart into the field around your body, helping to uplift and nourish all the particles that surround you in your field now. Allowing you to truly bask in a field of love, of light, of joy. And then gently beginning to allow yourself to make your way out of the meditative state. By bringing gentle movements to the fingers and toes, and allowing your body to move in any way it's called to move. And then when you're ready, gently blinking your eyes open and simply scanning the physical space that holds you, as though it is the very first time you have seen it. Looking at the world through fresh eyes, and knowing now how you can bring this love and this peace into your life, even with your eyes wide open. Thank you all for moving through that experience with me. I just want to, give you a moment to reflect on that and just kind of notice how your body and your mind responded every time you opened your eyes in that meditation. And we can remember that sometimes, when we leave our meditation, when we exit the meditation, right, we can very easily drop back into those old patterns that we're using the meditation to release. And so we actually have to carry the tools and the knowledge that we gain in our meditations, in our morning, afternoon, evening practices into our everyday living, breathing life, right? Like that is how we truly, truly are going to make great change in our life. So I invite you to share that. You can share it in the comments or share it at a later time, just however that kind of shifted for you. I am going to pull a couple cards just to take us a little deeper into this session here. And so you can just kind of remain where you are, or just listen with an open heart. You can speak an intention into the room that you're at. um, Whatever, you maybe some part of it that you need a little more clarity on, whatever it is that's on your heart. And I'm just gonna pull a couple cards and see what comes through for us. So right away, some of you feel like you're on the wrong path, but not because you're actually on the wrong path, but it's because it's what other people have told you. And what's coming up is that you are on the right track. You're actually right on it. And this is a hidden treasure. So you are like in the meditation, you are right where you need to be. Trust that. And so sitting with your heart a little bit more, sitting with your own intuition, making time to settle into that quiet space. You really need to do that, because your heart knows. Ooh, I got the chills, the goosebumps. Someone said I needed that confirmation, and I got like major goosebumps. So yes. Yeah. So just really giving yourself that time, because when those voices of other people become so loud and then we embody them as our own, it can minimize and really quiet down our internal knowing and that truth within us. And so what we have to do is we have to really make space to tune back into the truth within us, so that becomes the loudest voice. That has to be our loudest voice. And I'm hearing, if you're experiencing self-doubt because of your inner critic, that inner critic will sometimes shadow like over the inner voice. So we have to really make the space to settle into the heart, to feel that. And then you can ask yourself, what small step can I take right now, today, in the direction of that dream, that I can do right now? Because I have to do it, right? I've got to do it. And the only way out is through. The only way I'm going to know is by doing it. So take that step, because you're going to prove to yourself. You're going to prove to yourself that that's what you need to be doing, even more than ever before. Okay. Okay. All right. So every time we have the courage to trust ourselves, every time we have the courage to listen to that inner voice, no matter what that means. And believe me, I have put myself in these situations where I'm like, how is it possibly going to work? like what am I going to do? I'm like, you like quit a job, or you leave a relationship, or let go of certain friends, and or whatever you do, or you decide to go off on this big lofty, mission or vacation, or whatever you're going to do. And the moment you decide, because you might be filled with like all this anticipation and this like, yeah, it's going to be so great, and da da da. And then there comes all the oh, but what about, how am I going to take care of this? How am I going to tend to that? What am I going to do when? All these questions start to come in, right? And this whole process, the moment we decide is the moment the transformation begins. And the moment we take action on that decision is when the transformation really starts to catalyze, right? And every single moment that we come up against those limited beliefs, whether they're ours or someone else's, every time we come up against a limited belief, we are expanding our field beyond the boundaries of who we used to be, and we are transforming. And so there's a lot of you that are a lot of us who are in this space right now, who, as we release those old voices, we're releasing the past, right? And we are emerging and transforming. And every time we listen to that voice, we're transmuting those energies every single time. Every single time we come up against the old self and we embody the new self, we're transforming those old energies into new ones. We're allowing ourselves to become who we truly want to be. It's just, I mean, all these cards that I pulled are all just confirmation of everything that we've already been talking about, right? So you're on the right track. Your gifts are being revealed. You're releasing the past, emerging, transforming, energies are being transmuted, and then find your center. Stay true to you. Call it to you, right? And that's the other thing that this card always is reminding me of, is that when we have a dream and it's in our heart, when we have a vision, when we have a voice in our heart that says, you must, you must, you must, and you go, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. The moment we decide and we take action, we're co-creating with the universe, and the universe starts to bring us everything that we need, right? Where we are really calling it to us by standing firm in that vision. Right? And the universe moves the pieces around, and we end up exactly where we need to be at the right time, meeting the right people in the right circumstances that help us to lead us even deeper on that dream. And we have to keep following that little voice, right? And really noticing when those old voices are coming in, the old triggers, the old, critics, right? Because you can hear the voice, accept the call, right? Take action, make that decision, take action. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit that job. I'm going to leave that relationship. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to do it. And you take the first step by having the hard conversation, by writing the 2 weeks notice letter, by forming, paying the money to form your business identity or whatever. Right? You take that action that sends that signal to the universe, and you go, "Okay, let's do it." And then you have the different voices that come in. Well, the grandmother, the uncle, the mother, the father, the old boss, the teacher from 4th grade, your old best friend. You have these little voices that come in. Then you have your own. And all the time you're kind of like batting them away, right? Like, no, like in a batting cage. Like, no, no, like, and you got to be real good about getting them all like, no, and staying true to you, listening to that center. And if we do that, the more we do that, every moment we do that, we are calling those experiences to us that we need. So, but here's the thing, it's like we got to be really aware, because the moment the moment we hear one of those little things and it's like, oh, well, maybe we should take it the safe route and we should do it this way because it's safe. Right. And I'm not giving a lot of examples because I really don't like to try to plant more images in your head. You already know how these things apply to your life. Right. So, but anyway, we have that experience. We're like, okay, I'm going to take it the safe route. And that's actually that inner critic, right? That's an inner critic. But we think it's just the safe route. you know, and so we go that way, and we're actually on a detour. And we had to take the detour because our soul needed a little bit more growth in order to prepare us for the next step. So we technically had to take it, otherwise we wouldn't have. So we get on the little detour. But if we just would have listened, we wouldn't have had to take the detour. We're still going to end up where we need to be. We're still going to call those opportunities to us. But it's up to us how many detours we're going to take. And so the more you stay true to you, the more we stay true to our heart, the more we listen to that voice within us that sometimes is so quiet. The more we listen to that, the easier it is, the quicker it comes, the better you feel. More than anything, the better you feel. I'll just, we're coming up on the close of this, but I'm going to pull one from, or two maybe, from the animal deck. But when we have a dream on our heart and we take action, and those old voices, those critics come in, those don't feel good, right? And so sometimes you actually, might not be the kind of person that you might think, oh, well, I'm thinking mostly positive about this experience. I'm thinking mostly positive about what I want, right? But yet I'm feeling funky. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling anxious. And sometimes we have to, not sometimes, it's kind of depends on the person. Sometimes it's more in one case than the other. It really depends on who you are. You'll know for you, but you can feel the critic more than you can hear it. And so we have to not only be aware of our thoughts, but we have to get really good at being aware of what we're feeling and notice what that feeling is. Is that anxiety because, you know, so and so told me that I couldn't? Like, we have to get really clear on what that feeling is guiding us to and where it's coming from. And if we're feeling anxious or feeling overwhelmed or feeling sad or disheartened or yeah, if we're feeling that, then we're likely on a little detour. We don't have to stay there very long. We don't have to stay there very long at all, especially if we decide, oh, this isn't how I want to feel. We take a break, we come back into the heart. Heart, show me how to feel at ease right now. Dear heart, show me how to trust myself right now. That's funny. Okay. All right. Okay, that's twice. All right. So, and some of you, this is for some of you out there, some of you need to be open to even more experiences coming your way, like romantic experiences. That's come out twice. I was like, oh, maybe, I always let it show itself again if I'm not so certain about the message and how it fits into what we're already talking about. But that actually, I'm hearing some of you actually need this romantic relationship that you're hearing as part of your partnership for what you're doing in your life. And you're actually pushing against it because you think that it might actually deter you away from your mission and your goal. And so just giving yourself some time with your heart to really check in with that. Just going to pop that in there. That's only for a select few of you out there. Take it only if it resonates. Um, okay, but the other two other two cards that are very, very important right now are the I'm gonna say it wrong. It's the Dachshund dog. So we always call it the wiener dog here in where I live, but Dachshund, is that how you say it? Someone out there knows how to say it better than me. Um, uh, so procrastination and worrying about what others will think are blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. So again, just more confirmation, right? Like sometimes we procrastinate because we're so worried about what other people think that we're actually blocking ourselves from what we need to be doing. It Yeah, so get out of your own way. Like let's all get out of our own way, right? Let's just really trust that we are exactly where we need to be. And worrying about what someone else is going to think is not helping anybody or anything. So then there's the Ace of Fire, and this is the White Tiger. I love this card. Doo-doo-doo. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may come as a surprise, but you'll want to leap into action and passionately pursue every possibility. So this is two messages depending on who you are. Um, it very well could be that an opportunity is coming your way that's going to assist you in the endeavor that you're on, in your mission, in your path. And really all you have to do is be you to receive it. All you have to do is let go of that inner critic as much as you can, stay centered in and true to yourself, live your dream with your eyes wide open, and that opportunity is going to come right to you. And it could be literally as I'm seeing, like, you walk into a grocery store and you meet somebody and you just get to talking and that happens that way. It could be through a form of a phone call or an email of somebody finding your information or you somewhere else and wanting to get in touch with you and wanting to, offer you this. And then for others of you, this wonderful new opportunity is actually an understanding within you of what you need to do. Right. And it's almost like surprising. Like I'm getting chills as I even did that. Like it's like surprising you because you are like, so wait a minute. I have to do this. This is what I get to do. Whoa, wait a minute. I thought maybe, but now I know. Right. So it's like a deep knowing that it is really what you need to be doing, what you're going to be doing. It could even be that you hear the name of the business you want to start. right? It could be that you finally have a clear vision on what it is that you're trying to bring into the world, right? And that is that opportunity. And it's like one of those like, okay, you heard it, you heard the business name, go, set it in stone. Okay, you've heard the idea, start making a plan. Don't grip too firmly to your plans, but start making a plan on what you want to do with wiggle room, right? I'm going to close this with one final thing that came through, and then we're going to close for the day. Um, I like to share things from different teachers that have helped me over the years, and one of my favorite teachers is Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, um, and I love listening to his books on tape. He reads them himself, and listening to his seminars and things. And he's just a brilliant soul. What he was a brilliant soul is a brilliant soul. And one of the things he said that sticks really I always hold in my heart. And I want to share with you, especially because of how we're kind of closing this, especially for those of you that are going to be receiving a new opportunity, or you just now have this like new idea and you're going to run with it, or whatever it is. And this idea of planning, right? So sometimes we feel like we need to do all of these different things in order to make something happen, right? Like if we're going to start a business, this is an example. If we're going to start a new business, we have to do this laundry list of things. And so we might start scheduling things on your calendar, and maybe you have different meetings with different people. Maybe you work in a company already where you just have a calendar filled with meetings all week long of, meeting with this person and that person and just clients or whatever all week long. And I want to just give this little piece, it's like a little whisper that came in here at the end of make room in your calendar for miracles to happen. And Dr. Wayne Dyer would talk about this from his own experience of doing that, of filling his calendar, of removing what you can off of your calendar and having no expectations of how you're going to use that time, but using it as spirit wants you to in that moment so that you can truly, truly, truly allow the miracle to come through. So by not scheduling something, by not planning something in that moment of time, you can instead sit with your intuition, and your intuition might say, go to the library. And if you listen, that could be exactly where you meet that next person that's going to help you with the next thing that you need. Right? So instead of gripping really firmly about all these things we need to do, let's loosen the grip, let's relax the grip, and make space for the miracles to occur. Okay. That sounds like a beautiful place to close it. I will just one little plug here thing. I'm going to be trying out the YouTube membership thing here on YouTube. I have no idea how it works, like actually, because I've never been able to find somebody else's membership. I think that you can access it from a desktop computer, or if you're on an Android phone, you can find it just by going to my channel. But there's just different ways to support this work so that I can keep doing this as frequently as I've been doing, and also to provide more things for the community that want to be part of that membership. And then on top of that, or not on top of that, additionally, I'm going to be starting to host monthly workshops on the first Saturday. These are going to be on Zoom, and you can register for those workshops through my website, journeyintothesoul.com. And if you're, I think one of the tiers on the membership, if you're in that tier, it gives you like a 50% off the entry for the workshop. So just kind of trying to create different ways for us to come together in community as well, and also to offer other ways where we can really learn to live more deeply from the heart, to learn to embody these practices that we're learning in our meditations out in the world, our everyday life. So you can feel free to check that out. And if you have any questions, you can email me. My email is in the description of my channel, so you can find that over there. And I believe that is all for today. I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful remainder of your day, your week, wherever you are in space and time. And yeah, okay, lots of love. Till next time. Bye for now.